Buffs Nation, what is going on? Everybody out in Buffalo land. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. Man, I had such a good time yesterday talking all sorts of Buffs content with you guys, all sorts of topics with Big Dog Chico, hopping on the panel with Rawhide Media yesterday. That was awesome. And I got some great things planned for you guys for the rest of this week. But y'all be sure to hit the like. Let me know who's watching, whether you're on Twitter or YouTube. Always greatly appreciated. But I wanted to go ahead and give my reaction. I just got done listening to Coach Prime's Tuesday presser, and especially with a lot of the items that we've been talking about over the last week or so. It was great to hear him give his perspective on, and I wanted to comment on that. Now, there are a few different pieces that I wanted to start out with first. First, in regards to Shedeur Sanders' health, he said that he's hurting. Something like day to day, I think is how he categorized him right now. I think right now we can expect him to play. And I kind of feel I feel a certain way about it, but part of me wants to protect him from getting more hurt. Obviously, I don't want Shedeur Sanders going down with any serious injury. In the last game of the season, well, I'll say this. If we get to 5 wins, I guess, anything's on the table, right? And so for that reason, he's got to be playing. But from a leadership perspective, I think this team really does ride and die with Shedeur. So it's why, again, some people were complaining last week. It's like, why is Travis still in the game? Yada, yada, yada. Man, he's our dog. He is our dog. He sets the tone for the rest of this team, and I think it's important to have him out there. Yeah, you guys are bringing up great questions here that I'm going to get to here in just a minute. Regarding recruiting, Coach Prime brought up this idea. He's like, I hate that if you're committed to a school that you can still go on official visits elsewhere. I think that's a pretty fair point. If you're committed somewhere, hey, you're committed, right? That should mean you're signing up to come here. But at the end of the day, we know with how this whole thing works right now, nothing is ever for sure until they sign on the dotted line. And I guess even with cases like Jaden Rashada, we see that sometimes even after signing on the dotted line, you can get a release. So I'm with him on that. I wish people would just be a little bit more straight shooting with what they want. I think if that were the case, you'd probably see more people just wait until signing day or right before signing day to announce their commitments, which would be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting, I think. But he also said, if you're coming here for the bag, that's not what we're about. It's going to be, I think that guy from On3, the Josh Newman, I think his name is, where he says he's a Colorado recruiting expert. He was saying, if you go on every message board right now, every team's fan base is talking about getting O-line talent and D-line talent in the portal. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but hopefully we can get a few guys. You guys have been great in reminding us that we got some guys coming in here, coming back, like Tyler Brown, like David Connor. That's going to be huge. We got Isaiah Walker coming in here, number 2 rated tackle in the JUCO ranks. But the most important thing for us is not Jordan Seaton at this moment, although that is a priority. It is making sure that we have a guy coaching these gentlemen that can develop them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, when Rawhide and I were talking yesterday, we had Coach Elliott join the panel, which was awesome. Thank you so much for joining the panel. That really means a lot. And it was great to hear. If you're listening, it was great to hear your perspective on this, being a coach. But he was saying, man, when there is when there's stuff going on in the locker room, when guys are clearly upset, you have to get them all together. You got to talk things out as a team. And it sounds like what Coach Prime alluded to today or yesterday is that they had that type of meeting where they aired everything out. We'll see if it ends up on the Amazon documentary, right? I would be very interested to be a fly in the wall on that team or in that team meeting. But Some of you guys are asking about Smoke, and I think Coach Prime gave a pretty candid answer. He said, I feel bad that that we as a program did not live up to what Smoke expected from us. And I guess you could read between the lines in some different ways, but kind of how I take it right now is that it's similar to the comments that I shared yesterday, whereas I think that there was an expectation that this offense was going to be by far the strength of the team. They were going to be scoring a lot of points. They were going to be able to get guys a lot of their carries, a lot of their touches, a lot of their stats. Now, he did say we have such a deep running back room that, and then the offense wasn't what it was. There weren't touches for everybody. But I do think it's a fair point. You call him a pro, who then is determining which running backs are on the field? Because, again, we've seen, I don't have an issue with Dylan Edwards being on the field. I don't have an issue with Hankerson being on the field. Sometimes that where I have an issue with is how these guys are used when they're on the field, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. If we wanted to protect Shedeur more, I feel like Dylan Edwards has given his heart and soul into pass protection this year, right? I mean, that man's gotten hit and blown up pretty much more than everybody except Shedeur this year, right? If we're more serious about that, about protecting Shedeur, why wasn't Smoke in the game more? Why were we running a scheme in which we were misusing guys not to their strengths? Again, that's just the biggest question that I have. But it was really good to hear Coach Prime speak on the fact that they had this team meeting. They did get everything out. I assume they addressed the Willie Gaines stuff as well. We'll see what happens with that. But I want to know your guys' thoughts on all this. But I do wish, again, I know this is probably biased or whatever, but to me, I don't really feel like there's, again, the offensive line and the lack of dedication to the running game was at a place to where, to me, if it's Caleb Mathis, if it's Willie Gaines, if it's Tarvaris Dawson in there taking some backup reps, when Jimmy has to go out, it's not the biggest deal in the world to me. I think it maybe affects performance a little bit, but at the end of the day, I would have liked to see more of Smoke because I feel like his pass protection could have helped this team in the long run. And, Coach Prime called him a pro. Again, I have no idea who is determining why certain guys are on the field. I don't know if Coach Prime is giving his position coaches the authority to do that, which I think is usually pretty traditional with coaches, or if he's the one doing it. I don't know. I guess we'll find out maybe in some of this Amazon documentary stuff. Yeah, so anyways, y'all. And I guess I'll end this and I'll get to your comments on Utah. Man, Utah is a really freaking tough team. I do not expect us to win. Man, if we win, though, that would be amazing. I hope we come out here. Hopefully our team is more recovered from sickness. And we really bring it this year or this weekend. And regardless of the scoreboard, I just want to see us play with tenacity, with aggression, with fire. Again, Utah has something to play for. I believe they have a bowl game on the line. Are they at 6 wins? I'm trying to remember. But we still have something on the line here too. Again, what really disappointed me last week was that we're going to be a team that has special privileges right now because we are Colorado. We are coached by Coach Prime. I believe if we got that win last week, people are talking about who are we going to be going up against in a bowl game with 5 wins. As ridiculous as that might sound, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Bowl games would want us, regardless of how many wins we have, right? And I hope that we can come out and play with something, play with that energy to play for something. Because if we can pull off this miraculous upset, I still think that's on the table. But I'm not going to I'm not going to shortchange any of y'all on here saying that we should expect right now for this team to go in and beat Utah in Salt Lake City on Saturday, regardless of what Rawhide is saying. Rawhide, we need to make a bet, man. We need to make a bet because Rawhide's been saying all year, man, Utah ain't it. Utah ain't it. I'm calling it. He's been calling it all year, man. We're going to beat the Utes. I hope you're right, Rawhide. I so hope we're right, or you're right. But I ain't gonna shortchange y'all, man. After we made Wazoo look like the Oregon Ducks last week, I don't know what to expect. But again, I just want to see some of the principles of winning football being demonstrated. Tenacity, aggression, focus. So that means we're not making a bunch of dumb penalties. We're wrapping up tacklers, or we're wrapping up our tackles, and so forth. No false starts. Special teams. We're not giving up any back-breaking plays or having our punts and kicks blocked, right? And we can still demonstrate those things and do those things regardless of what the scoreboard looks like. So I guess, though, that I do hope that Shedeur is healthy enough to play. But again, Shedeur, man, if you're going to play, please, let's make sure you get rid of that ball quick. Regardless of if you want to hold on to the ball to make a play, let's prioritize keeping yourself upright. And again, with what Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, for instance, have done when they've had weak lines is, man, they get that ball out of there. They get that ball out of there really quick. And let's focus on the quick passing game. They got the ball out of their hands after 1 second of taking the snap. That's like that 2013 year where Peyton Manning set all of those records, passed for 50 touchdowns, all of that, the record-breaking offense of 2013. That offensive line was bad, y'all. That was a bad offensive line. Ryan Clady, our best offensive lineman, left tackle, was out for most of the year. Like people don't remember that. But because Peyton Manning understood that, he got the ball out quick. And whether that's Pat Shurmur in conjunction with Coach Prime and Shedeur, we need to develop a pass game that is getting the ball out of his hands quickly, that prioritizes getting the ball out of his hands very quickly. And I think we got the speed to do it, right? So anyways, I guess I'll get to some of your guys' questions here. I won't go here for too long. So if you want to ensure I read some, send me a super chat. Green Creole, thank you so much for the $10. That really means a lot. And it's a nice little early birthday present. That really does mean a lot. Thank you for being one of my day ones. Hope you're having a great week. And I hope that your Thanksgiving is fantastic too. Go Cowboys. I'll be rooting for the Cowboys. I like Dak Prescott. All right. Justin Black. I just want to know if I'm the only one that heard what Coach Prime said about Smoke. He said that Smoke is a pro. How can I picture that when he's not playing him? Exactly, man. Those are the questions that I raised. Who is determining the personnel on the field and how they're being used? It just hasn't made sense in some ways. It just hasn't made sense. One hit on Shedeur, he will be done. Back up, not even ready. If you listen to the presser today, yeah, we got to, again, we have to come out with a game plan that prioritizes keeping him upright. And Shedeur needs to not, because he's so talented, I think sometimes he goes into that Brady mode, that hero mode, because he is so talented. He wants to hold on to the ball to make that best play. But sometimes, again, this is part of being a pro. Sometimes you just got to take what's given to you, even if it's not the most ideal situation, even though it's hard to do that. Sometimes you just got to throw it away. Sometimes, like we've seen that done with some of the greats, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. They'll understand, man, the protection is just bad immediately, and they'll just throw that thing into the dirt right by the receiver, man. They'll just do that. I think sometimes we got to see some of that done with Shedeur. He has to prioritize. And guys, again, this is something I was not expecting any of these quarterbacks to be doing anything this year. They are all incredibly raw. So nobody is ready. That should absolutely be a priority in the portal. But just like linemen in the portal, a backup quarterback, man, is hard to get. I'm hoping, man, Maybe we can target somebody from the FCS or the Division II ranking, that is a seasoned quarterback that has played, 4 years, coming out here for a graduate year, and then wants to get into coaching. Somebody who's cerebral, who understands the game, who can help, contribute to teaching the other guys or helping the other young guys, especially in the film room as well. But they can step in there and run an offense, understand what is going on schematically on the field, that can make quick decisions. And hey, then you come on staff the following year as a GA, right? I mean, that would be kind of cool. 202 Degree says everyone on the team don't want to win. They don't listen to their coaches. I would love to hear your sources, but I think it's very true that we have had some bad, and I don't know. Do you want to call it selfish with how guys aren't taking their responsibilities seriously on special teams? Are we more concerned about our statistics that we're not giving it all in the special teams phase of the game? I think that's a fair thing. Richard Wiles says Utah smells blood this week after last week lost to Arizona. It looks like a bloodbath this weekend. And this really pains me to say, Richard, but CU right now, they've been that get right matchup for the opposing team. They've been that get right week. You saw it with Stanford. You saw it with UCLA, man. Oregon State, Arizona, man. I mean, well, I guess they're on a tear before then, but they've continued that. But Wazoo, I mean, this was a team that was on a 6-game losing streak, and they just absolutely obliterated us last week. And that wasn't just because Shedeur was hurt. Nah, man, that game was over while he was still on the field, man, when it was 21-7. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, that we lost that game or that we could have come back with Shedeur. Man, we were playing terrible. We were playing absolutely terrible last week, even before he went out with that injury. So that is the case. That is the case right now. CU is the get right week for our opponents. And we need to disprove that. But we can't. Right now, we need to prove that we're not that team. But I'll tell you what, I'm betting on this one. I'm betting on this one. CU needs an O-line coach. Yes. Let's take a look at I'll take a well, I'm thinking about doing this video later today on like some guys that if I was in charge of things, being the keyboard coach, the keyboard athletic director, the keyboard Rick George, who would I, keyboard coach Prime, who would I go after? So y'all be on the lookout for that this afternoon. I'll put together a list of like 4 or 5 guys. Okay. Tremaine Young, good to see you as always. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hey, and we're going to have recruits come here. Like that's going to happen, just like recruits are going to commit to these other schools. There's going to be a lot of turnover here with the commitments, with the transfer portal. It's going to be a really exciting part of the season. I'm really looking forward to it. Cam Michael, cousin of Amontre Bradford, man, I think we do have a good shot. He's announcing here on November 23rd, here on Thanksgiving. That would be a great birthday present for me, since my birthday is on Thursday. Let's get a Cam Michael commitment out here. I mean, Boulder, much more beautiful than College Station, right? He knows it. His cousin's going to be here. I think we should. Now, we've talked about this earlier this week. Now, there are a couple position coaches, on the defense that maybe I'm a little unsure of right now. But I think ideally what I'd like is just keep the continuity on defense with the coaching, have everybody that's been here have another off season in the system, get these guys in here, have another off season to work through things. I think we'll continue to see better defensive performance. Yeah, Justin Black. Again, providing great context here. These are young kids. These are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. They're undecided on a lot of things. Did you know what you would be doing for your career at 17 years old? I didn't. I didn't even know what I wanted to go to college for, right? Right? Did you? I didn't. So again, somebody changing their decision, like this stuff happens. You're not going to find me getting angry over that sort of thing. All right. Hawkins, thank you for tuning in. Another one of my day ones. Man, back when I had to shave my beard, sadly, because I messed it up. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Y'all, give me some good questions here. Jay Reed coming in here with some good perspective here. If you get down 14 in the first quarter, the running game isn't going to be emphasized. Yes, that's why it's like, man, we didn't even have an opportunity to see um, how we were going to scheme up that game last week because we were in a hole so quickly. We had a 3 and out, then a defensive touchdown, then we scored, then we gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown, and then Shedeur had a fumble. And like that, it's 21-7. This hippie David is full of shit. Well, I appreciate your comments. And I mean, 202 degree, man, I've seen you in here all the time. So I appreciate the dialogue and I always appreciate everybody tuning in, man. You're welcome to have your own opinion, but you can call me full of shit. You can call me a genius. I'm just here giving you my perspective, man. What is the point of having a CUNIL collective when Coach Prime was very adamant about not playing football players to play at CU? I don't. This is me just kind of reading the situation. I don't think Coach Prime wants to talk money with any player because he's like, he's mentioned that. Hey, if you come here, that NIL stuff can be taken care of behind the scenes. But I don't think outside of his family, and maybe Travis, that he has a direct hand. He wants to have a direct hand in NIL. I think he has a direct hand in some of the endorsement deals, like again that are related to him, and that's why you see Shiloh and Shedeur, get those things, or like Charlie Offerdahl. He had Charlie Offerdahl on the almonds commercial with was that Alto? Man, I can't remember, but I think that's kind of how I'm interpreting things. Is that hey, he'll give the recruits and those commitments, the contact numbers of the people who donate to the NIL, who run these collectives and all of that. But he doesn't, he's not going to take part in any NIL salary negotiation, anything like that. He ain't going to do it. And it seems like he draws a very clear line doing that. What do you think about that? All right, Jay Reed, appreciate the love. Let me get a drink here really quick. This season did two major things. One, it took the bandwagon fans off. Say you're pretty right about that, man. Two, it gave this team a CU versus everybody chip on their shoulder going into next season. This is a great recruiting angle for Prime. Yes. I agree. So, definitely. And I think with how this year has gone in conference play, like in terms of pressure, I think there's going to be less pressure for next year, honestly. Maybe that's not the case because, everybody is always going to talk about Coach Prime succeeding or not succeeding and all this stuff. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. But I think that's true. We're going to come in with an underdog mentality. And now we know the baseline, man. We know the baseline. We know where we're at. And right now, it's not anywhere near where we need to be. Right now, it's not anywhere near college football playoff worthy. Do I think we can get there? Yes. But Coach Prime, he needs to improve. Our assistants need to improve. Our talent needs to improve. All of those things. Our PA guy needs to improve. Our field guys, our turf needs to improve. Our game day experience at Folsom, it needs to improve. So um, everybody has work to do, but I think definitely after a year like this, we're gonna be very focused in the off season on what we need to accomplish. We at least know with like the work that we've put in this year where it gets us, right? We at least know the baseline. I think you're totally right though, Jay Reed. I appreciate that, and thank you so much for your super chat donation. Coach Kev in the house. Let me know your thoughts if you got any, man. I appreciate you. David, do we need another field goal kicker? Yes. Competition, baby. I want the competition. At the very least, I mean, I think Mata has been very good for us. I think he's been very good for us, but we need to be looking to improve at all positions with where we're at right now. And that, kicker, place kicker, kickoff kicker, kickoff specialist, that all needs to happen. We are playing over a mile high above sea level. We have all of our opponents' kickers come in here and kick this stuff out of bounds on pretty much every kickoff, or kick it through the end zone, rather. Out of bounds would be a penalty. And we struggle to do that consistently. We need to get a guy in here with a leg that can kick it deep, that can kick it straight. We've had way too many miscues on special teams, kicking it short, allowing our poor return defense to be taken advantage of. We kicked it out of bounds many times. We need a guy in here. Again, this is why you watch that Broncos game on Sunday night, there wasn't one return, right? Because, everybody's kicking it out of bounds here at altitude, man. Everybody is, especially at altitude. There is no excuse for why we should have any returns next year at Folsom. Inexcusable. Richard Wiles, if you listen to Matt McChesney's podcast yesterday and today, he said some players have already checked out and talking about offseason and off to Cancun. Yeah, I saw those clips, and, he's right. And I think he was alluding more so, I took it as he was alluding more so to the coaches. But again, some players that are leaving, that's what happens. That's what happens. That's something that, as a coach, especially when you're losing, it's very hard to keep a team together and locked in fully when certain things are coming. Again, this is, again, I feel like I always got to preface this for you guys. I believe in the direction, in the trajectory of where this team is going. Coach Prime said it, man. We made a 3-game improvement so far this year. Hopefully we can get that 4th. But guys, trust me, this program is in a much better position in a lot of ways than it was last year. And we're going to continue to grow and get better. Are there things we need to improve on? Yes. One thing that I do not understand, I just do not understand, is why certain coaches that know they're not coming back, why they're still on the staff right now. When Sean Lewis got his play calling abilities taken away from him, when Bill O'Boyle was told, actually, we're going to have Pat Shurmur come in here and coach the offensive line too, in addition to running the offense. Personally, I would have had them leave the building because they're dead weight at this point. They're already checked out looking for their next opportunity because we know they're not going to return. I mean, that's why talent, again, I'll get into that later. I talked about it yesterday, but that is one thing that I don't get. And I think that you've kind of seen that over the last few weeks about just things have looked and felt disjointed. And K-Temp said this, yeah, Prime, he said he's not paying you to come here like Texas A&M. He didn't say he had no NIL. Correct. And that's what I'm trying to say is, like, Coach Prime's not going to be negotiating salary or anything like that for these players. He's going to put them in connection with the guys from that are funding and running these NIL collectives. But I get the idea that he doesn't want to have a direct involvement in this stuff, which I think is totally fine. My assumption would be Cormani and a few others may jump in the portal. I just hope those 2 young receivers don't jump in the portal. Yeah. I don't know. Personally, I'm not very concerned with Cormani. Again, there's a lot of questions right now on why the offense has been the way that it was. I mean, we've talked about that so many times about how we've left chips on the table, and we haven't schemed towards the strengths and weaknesses, of this team. Like with those in mind, we just haven't for whatever reason. So yeah, I'm hoping we keep a lot of guys on the offense, but and I don't know any of this stuff, behind the scenes or anything like that, but this is college football. We're now, trying to play with the big boys, and we're getting there in college football. None of these programs are immune from players leaving. And there will be turnover with this roster. We'll just see what that looks like. Nobody wants this terrible team. Hey, man, what about the Prime Bowl? What if the Prime Bowl, we go up against CSU again? Come on. I just want to sell a money fight that people want to watch again, right? People would hate us for that, but and I don't know how all this stuff goes with the NCAA rules and all that BS, but why not just create our own bowl game, man? Is that a participation trophy? Well, what bowl game outside the national championship isn't a participation trophy at the end of the day? Let's make the David Talks Buffs Bowl. I would love it if we do that, but that might be a little too pushing the envelope a little too far, but that's what I would like. The David Talks Buffs Bowl, we go up against another 4 or 5 win team, and because that should be competitive. Well, granted, we just went up against another 4-win team on Friday. You saw how that worked out, but having a whole month of practice, right, with a new offensive line coach in there, right. But maybe we just want to move on to hiring that new staff, focusing on recruiting. I can understand that. But these guys need the practice. I agree with you guys that brought that up. Rawhide Media for you. Appreciate you, man. Glad I can make you laugh. All right. As McDade, good to see you. They have to finish strong. Yes. Regardless of the scoreboard, go out and play with those principles that lead to winning football down the road. That's what we need to do. Prime has lost the locker room's respect. Forrest, I would love to hear you talk about this and who you've heard it from. I think right now it's definitely clear that there is some BS to sort through, and there is a disjointed team right now with what we've seen on the field. I don't think that I can go as far in saying the entire locker room is tuning this stuff out. I don't think that's the case. I don't think so. Do I think that there is a division? Yes. That's what happens, especially when you're losing game after game after game. What are we on now, y'all? A 5-game losing streak? That happens. Can Coach Prime rally this team to get them to play collectively this year or this week to finish out the season? I sure hope so. All right. They do not have to get to 6 wins. They can get to 5 wins. And the Pac-12 actually just looked to change that. So it could still happen, but I say the odds of that are very, very slim. And I don't believe there are 82 6-win teams right now. But I could be wrong on that. Pete Nice, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in, man. And I always love seeing your profile pic. What's up, David? Great info as always. Looks like we're going to have a big splash in recruiting soon. Let's go, Buffs. Yes. Right now we're ranked 69th in the country in recruiting. Nice. But it's going to get nicer. Yeah, it's going to get nicer. It's my hope that with the portal, what's it called? The composite ranking. I think we need another top 25 class. what were we, 20, 21 last year? We need something around that. Can we get our high school ranking, in the top 30, which is, I think, where we were around last year? I think we can get up there a little bit more. Again, King Joseph Edwards. I don't think he's officially committed yet. That would be absolutely huge. We got to make sure we keep Aaron Butler. I am a little worried about Mizzou because we know Talon Chandler, man. That man can recruit. But hopefully we're able to, get Aaron Butler here. That would be absolutely huge and flip some of these offensive linemen, to us. It's going to be flipping season. We might have some other guys flip from us. I think Danny O'Neal will probably flip somewhere else because he was a Sean Lewis guy, Bill O'Boyle guy. But, other than that, I can't really call anything. But, hey, just expect the unexpected, man, for whatever that should look like. I think that this recruiting season is about to turn up and get quite crazy. Quite crazy. Prime did Willie Gaines wrong. Again, this is my interpretation of it, Forrest. They thought this offense was going to be humming, which meant there were going to be a ton more snaps, which meant you were going to be going fast a lot. You were going to be subbing guys out. I think that they anticipated from the skill positions that they were going to get a lot more guys their own, so to speak. And that didn't happen. At the end of the day, I know this is harsh. Willie Gaines, at best, is probably the sixth best receiver on this team. And that's just what it is. And he had opportunities earlier in the year, and he didn't. He was alligator arming passes thrown to him. And when you're a backup, when you're a reserve, the standard is different. The standard is different. You can't afford to have those drops. You can't afford to make those mistakes with the few times that you're out there. At the end of the day, the standard's just different for players like Willie Gaines. It's a tough situation. I feel for him. But when you bring in so many guys, not everybody can eat. That's the harsh truth of it. Shedeur needs to sit. Man, we cannot have him out there taking hits. Caleb Williams kind of played like that against this last game against UCLA, man, where he was just throwing the ball away. He just wanted to make it out there. He just wanted to make it out there healthy. K10. See, you said exactly what I was saying. You beat me to it. Willie ain't even the sixth best receiver. They have to shut up. When they give you number 20, they gave you number 20. Now, I think Willie did commit here before we got some other commitments here, but at the end of the day, this is a performance based. You can do everything, and maybe that's the thing where it's just like I'm doing everything right on the field or off the field, and some of these guys that are on the field aren't doing it. I don't know. We know that's not the case for Juju Thompson or Juwan Mitchell Thompson. I don't know, but at the end of the day, like, this is how it is on every football team. You're going to have your core guys. You're going to have your core guys that you build your team around. Sometimes those guys are given a little bit more patience and a little bit more leeway for whatever reason or another. Backups and reserve players do not have that luxury. You have to know your spot. The standard is the standard, but you guys all know the standard is different. Prime said the dogs are coming, and hopefully the dog coaches are coming. We need a dog coach in this offensive line. We need a dog that's going to run this offense with some aggression, that it's going to look to pound the rock in certain ways, right? We need a dog that isn't afraid to call an offense with the strengths and weaknesses of their personnel in mind, not just fitting a square peg into a round hole, which is what we saw this year. If Cormani hits the portal, we might see a domino effect. Um, I don't know what that means. Like, if Cormani were to transfer, then everybody will take his lead and do it. I don't think so. Um, Now, if Shedeur were to hit the portal, I think that, but um, I I don't think Cormani kind of has that sway, like that. All right, guys, gonna go for a few more minutes. Stanford, great to see you. What's up? Hope you guys having a great day. Miss Lovely, why are y'all here just to hate? Because they hate us because they ain't us. Even though we got 4 wins, that's what it is. People wish they were part of this fan base. People wish they were part of what is being built here, what's going on. People wish they could talk about their football team for better or for worse every single day the way we do. People wish they were us, which is crazy because we're a 4-win football team. Yeah, people just weirdos. People are just weirdos. We just need some positive news, and then the stuff's going to start rolling again, man. Now, could the positive news be a win against Utah, man? I wish. I wish. I don't see it, but I wish. Do I see the kicking team coach thing? We don't have technically anybody with the title of kicking team coach. We have a special teams analyst, and we have none of our assistant coaches, our 10 assistant coaches, have special teams responsibilities in their title, which I think is a major issue right now. I think if Coach Prime probably had to redo this again, he would have hired an assistant coach that would also have the experience to be titled special teams coordinator. That's one of my hopes this year, is that with some of the new assistant coaches coming out, one of these guys coming in is going to be serve as special teams coordinator. Right now, Trevor Riley is responsible for the special teams as an analyst. This team right now plays like we don't have a special teams coordinator. Right? Um, Again, if I'm Coach Prime, if I'm running the ship, I get rid of the analyst and I just bring in a new special teams quality control analyst and an assistant coach who's also maybe coaching offensive line and special teams coordination. Because, I mean, to coach offensive line, I mean, you got to be very, very disciplined. You got to know your gaps. You got to know what's going on, right? We need that sort of gap discipline too with blocking, with return defense, all of that, right? So that's what I would do. All right, Stank Mouth. Oh, I guess this wasn't to me. But anyway, stop being a super fan. Complainers are the ones making this team better. We love Prime too, but he can't coach worth a darn. Worth a darn. Um, Coach Prime has a lot to improve on when it comes to coaching. Absolutely. And I'm very confident that he's going to continue to be a better coach and coach the more he coaches. That's why, again, even though like I've been very critical of certain things that we've seen him and the team do this year, man, I'm still on that Coach Prime. Give him that extension, baby. I still, I like the game management stuff. It'll get better the more that he coaches. I think he's learned a lot this year. I think a lot of people have learned a lot this year, and we're going to see better and improvement. Again, this is a guy who has been successful at everything he's put his mind to. He lives by the principles that he preaches so much because they live or they result in success. He lives success. No doubt in my mind, man. Long term, this thing is going to be seen as a big time success. But people that have issues with this, I guys, we got to understand. We can hold both things true. We can understand. We can be big time Coach Prime fans and want him to succeed, and we can also point out some things that need to improve or some things that we don't feel sit right. We can hold both of those things together. I think we need to stop labeling each other as super fans and complainers or haters or all of this. You can be critical and still want success. Um, you know, we're just as a society, we are just so quick to label each other. You know, if we disagree with the other person, I don't like that. Why are recruits decommitting? Well, there are a lot of recruits decommitting a lot of different places for a lot of different reasons. I guess the big decommit we've had is from Talon Chandler. I think that, again, is a valid thing on his end. This is how I see it. Bill Boyle's not returning at offensive line coach. That's pretty much a guarantee. Um, and he was his recruiter here. Bill O'Boyle was recruiting Talon Chandler before he was even at CU. So when you know your coach, the main guy that was recruiting you, is getting blown out, he's going to go somewhere else. You have to reevaluate what you want. Matt McChesney said, you know, Towns like, am I going to get better here? Right now, we like with what we saw with the offense, our offensive linemen regressed. Our coaching did not instill confidence into our offensive line, and they did not get better. We've seen guys on this team, for instance, on the defensive line, get better. We've seen individuals improve. Amari McNeil, for instance. Let's talk about him. But Talon bringing that up, especially because we don't have a new offensive line coach right now, how can he be confident right now that he's going to come here and succeed when the offensive line product was bad? And it's not bad because the players are the worst in FBS, in my opinion. It was one of the worst in FBS because the coaching was terrible. So if we need to lose somebody like Talon Chandler in order to then get the right coach in here to then develop guys, and then, you know, that's going to help us in the long run. But Talon Chandler's criticism, it makes sense for him to go to Missouri. This is an SEC team that's a top 10 ranked team right now. He hadn't had an offer. He grew up a Mizzou fan. It's business. It happens. But we're going to see guys flip from other schools and commit to here as well. It's going to happen everywhere. But I don't know if you guys can expect offensive line commits right now until we name an offensive line coach or an offensive coordinator. I think the coaching was bad. David the Goat, man, I try. I just try and give you my I try and give you my 2 cents, and I love chatting it up with y'all. Okay, going for a few more minutes. David, are we going to get some linebacker with experience in the mold of Juju? Man, we better even get in, better. Again, I would have loved to see Juju on the field, more, but if it's about maintaining a certain standard, you have to behave a certain way and meet certain requirements off the field before you get on the field. Props to them for holding that line, what I assume is a consistent thing. But we got some linebackers that I'm really excited for. King Joseph Edwards. Again, I think he's a lock here. We got some edge players like Brandon Davis Swain, Eric Brantley, Omar White coming out here. All these guys are going to be here in January. Going to be absolutely huge. And there are some guys that, that came here this past year. Why am I forgetting his name? Champion Johnson. This guy's a 6'4", like 240 size linebacker, man. Morgan Pearson, another really speedy linebacker that I hope we can see more of. Demoy Kennedy is a guy that I hope starts for this team next year. Physically, he looked different. Some of y'all pointed that out, this past weekend. But linebacker's a huge need. Front seven, offensive line, tight end, man. We gotta focus on those big boy positions. All right, let's see what else you got here. Yeah, David, you're right. People just going to magnify every little thing because of CU, which again, guys, is freaking crazy. Man, this stuff is unreal. Just enjoy the moment, y'all. Whether it's bad whether it's a bad week, whether it's a good week, whether it's a bad day, man, guys. I know this might sound stupid to some of y'all, but having a program with life where that people actually care about, that has a heartbeat, that people either want to hate or love, it is amazing. It's amazing. We're just getting started here, baby. DDBB coming in here. Top recruits want their money. His own son has the second highest NIL income. Yes. I think Coach Prime will play his hand in it for a select few, and that's really it. Whole world been copying ever since. Absolutely. All right, Coach Kev, you're bringing up something that might get me thrown out of Buffs Nation right now. Football gods, please forgive me for what I'm about to say. Buffs Nation, I'm going to give you some truth, and it's going to be hard news, okay? Lex brought up last week when we were watching that bad game. I popped that gummy in, man, because I said, Buffs Nation, it's just time to get high, man. Tweeted that out. And Lex said, you know what? I feel like this team is just cursed. And then it clicked with me. I'm like, and I've said this before. It's like, guys, even Ralphie Six doesn't give a shit about this team, man. Even Ralphie Six doesn't, man. You look at Ralphie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They all ran out the gate like a total spaz. Like she lost her mind. She was a madman, on a jailbreak. This, the Ralphie handlers are losing their hats. They're falling over. They're having trouble wrangling her in. There is no wrangling that's going on right now. Right now, Ralphie Six just kind of trots out there, doesn't give two shits, just wants to go home. This is how I felt about this team, in the second half of the season. This is how I felt about this team on Friday, man. We just didn't give a shit. That's how I felt about it. And it's like our team took on the personality of Ralphie Six. Now, this is a bold idea, and it might get me canceled. But I think we need to sacrifice Ralphie Six, y'all. We need to sacrifice Ralphie Six, and then we need to consume Ralphie Six. We need to start over. We need to eat that spirit. We need to get Ralphie 7 up in here and have multiple Ralphies that are trained at the same time. In case we figure out that one's just not into it, we can do this. But guys, ever since I came to the University of Colorado, I don't eat bison. I do not eat buffalo. I cannot fathom the idea of eating Ralphie. But I think this might be the case. So y'all let me know your thoughts on that. Scrolling to the man. Yeah, you guys are right. Ralphie set the tone. Ralphie set the tone, man. I love Ralphie, man. She's cute, but we need to move on, man. We need to get rid of any bad juju. Like, if you're not all in on this program, like, you got to go. And the mascot is not immune from this. Like I said, guys, I literally do not eat bison. I have not had a bison burger or anything bison in like 6-7 years. Okay. Ever since I heard Alfred Williams say that one time on the radio, longtime Buff national champion, I was like, wow, I can't do that either. I can't eat my school's mascot. It's fucked up. But man, we gotta, just like the Cubs fan, man, we blew up that Bartman ball. We blew it up. And guys, I don't care about baseball, but you still gotta have a team, right? Ralphie's got to hit that transfer portal. We need to kill the spirit of just not giving a shit. I'm not playing today. I know, man. This might get me canceled, from anything CU. I know. It's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. But I think we need to sacrifice Ralphie, man. Yeah, man, we gotta set an example. We gotta set the tone. Ralphie tryout will work. Yeah, we gotta get these guys. Man, I know I'm getting myself in hot water here. I was talking with Rawhide. He's like, "Man, I didn't go to school. I can't talk about that. I went to the school. I got a degree from CU. I can say what needs to be said in regards to Ralphie 6. Ralphie 5 freaking she run out there like she just took a line of cocaine. We don't get any of that with Ralphie 6. Ralphie will be fine. You're gonna be great. Oh man. Oh man, you guys are hilarious. Nah, yeah, just stop blaming the Bison, Ralphie. How about hey, I'm just trying to make sense of all this. It's like, why can't we ever have anything, go right for very long here in Buffs Nation, man? How come things always got to be hard? How come we always got to have heartbreak, man? That's right, man. Man, Pastor, I'm sorry for using the curse words, but I just gotta. We need. Green, man, we can't develop Ralphie, man. We can't develop our offensive line. We can't freaking develop special teams. We can't even develop Ralphie. It's time to blow the whole staff out there. We need somebody that can develop talent with the Buffalo. Man. Oh man, Coach Elliott. Man, I'm gonna have to have you on here another time, man. I really enjoyed all your perspective yesterday. Definitely nice talking with you. Buffalo tastes pretty good though, Dave. Man, you're breaking my heart, but man, I understand, man. It just tastes good. I just can't eat it with a good conscience because I think of Ralphie. But again, this is the one instance where it just might need to happen. Hey, are you saying Buffs haven't shown up since Betty died? Come on now, man. Come on. Peggy's still killing it. Actually, I walked next to Peggy at the Arizona game. Ralphie's stew, man. Yeah, Ralphie needs to hit that off-season conditioning. Man. Ted's Montana Grills on line one, and there wouldn't take Ralphie 6 out for you. Prep her for CU Nation consumption. That was a classic. Yeah, we can't use the male buffaloes because they are incredibly dangerous. Ralphie's always a female. They did initially when they did a contest, a naming contest back 80 years ago or whatever it was. The name that won was Ralph, but then they figured out like they didn't realize the people holding the naming competition or vote that it was for a female buffalo, not male. So that's why they added the IE on the end because they thought Ralphie at least sounds a little bit more feminine. So that's how you get Ralphie. Yeah. So man, I just again, somebody said earlier, man, David, man, he's full of shit. Absolutely. I'm absolutely full of shit, guys. But I'm gonna give you my perspective. Um, regardless. That's why you guys come here, man. So um man, you guys are cracking me up, man. Uh Ralphie 6 is a little too boosh. Oh man, you guys are. Oh man, I got to get out of here. I should probably get back to work, but this is just so much fun. Rawhide, man. I'm getting myself in trouble, man. I need another win, man. I can't be calling for the crucifixion of Ralphie 6, man. I can't be doing that. Yeah, fire everybody, man. Fire everybody. Oh man, guys, I wish I took another gummy. Um, uh, you know, I wish I took another gummy, but during work hours, guys, I keep it sober as hard as that might be to believe for some of you guys. That's how I do it. How about you run out in front of Ralphie next season? Hey, if they ask me to do it, I'll do it. How about that? I would be terrified, but for you, Sheila, for Buff Nation, for the YouTube community, man, I'll do it. I'll do it for y'all. We can raise some money for the NIL collective. How about that? We can race. David just wanted some bison for himself, guys. I got plenty of steaks, beef steaks in the freezer. I don't need any bison. Optimistic. Did she pass away? Well, Betty passed away maybe a year or two ago. Her twin, because they were the twins. But Peggy is still alive. She just had her 99th birthday, and she's been at all the home games. She's still been there, and the one who gave the kickoff at the spring game. So she's still alive, but sadly, her sister, the other half of the twins, she passed away a couple years ago. Yeah, we are not sacrificing Miss Peggy. No, 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 no. We won a national championship with the twins. We won a national championship with Miss Peggy. Oh, man, this live stream really went off the rails, guys. Oh man. All right, guys. Dave, I gotta defend you. You're not full shit, but when it comes to gummies, you're loaded with them most times. Hey, man. I'm on that boulder pack. I'm on that boulder pack. Guys, I don't take myself too seriously on here. Again, y'all can love what I say, y'all can hate what I say, but at the end of the day, whether you love this program, whether you love to see it fail, whatnot, man, you can always come to my page, man, and you're gonna see me enjoying it, man. Went off the rails. We retcon from David Ruff and the Temptation. I know, Lawrence Collins, man, you're absolutely right. Man, this is the laugh I didn't know I needed. Absolutely, guys. What are you gonna do, man, when your team's lost 5 straight, man? You got to look at every single thing. Damn, Dave, do not use this video as part of your portfolio for the CUPA job. Please don't. Yeah, I can't. I can't. You're right. You're right. But yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. I'll save that joke for another day. But guys, thanks for tuning in with me. Highly appreciate you guys joining in. This was so much fun. I'm gonna have some of my best YouTube friends on tomorrow for my day early birthday party. Again, you guys are probably sick of like, David, shut up about your birthday. We know it's on Thanksgiving, but I'm gonna celebrate with this with a panel on at 5 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow night. Looking to have Rawhide, looking to have Lawrence Collins on here, looking to have Rob, Bird's Eye View. So it should it should be a lot of fun, and we're just gonna talk buffs, man. So y'all come with some questions. We can take the serious questions, we can take the not so serious questions. Again, guys, before you found my channel, y'all need to look this up, man. I did a whole video on how the Big 12 is better than every conference out there with the realignment, and that's because we're better prepared to survive an alien invasion compared to the other conferences. Again, I always keep it 100 on here, but sometimes it's silly. So appreciate you guys. I got to get back to work, but as always, everybody, Skull Buffs!